Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy Shanus, and today we have a product review by popular demand. So one thing that I've been asked about a lot is, of course, to try to review like more affordable things, and with the holidays right around the corner, I figured now is actually the best time to go over this particular product. I've done a review on the prior iteration of this particular product before, and I'll link down below so you guys can see that. So I'm not going to get extremely intricate into the ins and outs because a lot of that is already or has already been covered. But nonetheless, I'll go over the updated version, compare it to the prior generation, and go from there. And so in today's video, we have a very popular Chime box that a lot of you have seen on other social media, specifically TikTok, and that is the Waifu Prison, which Gen 1 is right here in my hands. But they've actually released a new model, Gen 2, with some cool updates, and of course, just made it a little sleeker and more incognito, if you will, for those of you that don't want something completely obvious. So unfortunately, gone is the waifu, but let's take a glance at it and see what this is all about. So first things first is I'm actually going to go over the packaging, where it's actually had a very subtle change. This is the original box for the original Waifu Prison, so it had, of course, the artwork on the side. It had quite a bit of, stuff on the on the other side, and then the edges, of course, the company that makes it, Out of Love, and it says Edgy Club. So that was really neat. Came, of course, with the Waifu Box 1.0, I guess we should call it now, and the cable and adapter so you could actually plug it into a 12 volt. Came with micro USB for those wondering. It's right here on the side, and the speaker was basically designed in a heart shape. Had touch sensitive buttons going here, and to increase the volume you would basically hold the button, and the right one was to increase the volume up, or to lower it you did the other one. And the way that it works is essentially the moment that your vehicle received power, so basically upon turning on, the 12 volt would receive power, and then immediately this would receive power and play the chime that you had selected. I'll go over that portion a little bit later. This is actually the first time I'm unboxing the version 2.0, and one of the big things that they advertised on their social media was that the packaging had been refined and made more high-end. And while I definitely do miss the waifu from the original packaging, this is the new packaging, and they weren't lying. It is a sleek black box, almost with the new logo embossed and everything. There's definitely a huge difference in size, so as you can see, you got both right there. So I do definitely think this is sleeker, but it also feels heftier. Granted, I know that the product is not in this box right now, but it makes a big difference. You pop it open and voila, there's the presentation. So there's the new Waifu Prison 2.0, the adapter, and the cable. So for the sake of reference, I am gonna again compare some of these things. Unfortunately, I do not have the original 12 volt adapter on hand, but I will tell you that the new one that's included in this packaging is already an immediate upgrade. So just visibly, it's got its logo imprinted on the side for the company that makes it, which is Out of Love. There we go, as you can see. But I do believe 100% that the prior iteration was actually a slightly larger adapter. If those of you that recall me buying that original one, I believe I did a little kind of mentioning that I actually bought a more flush adapter just because I felt it protruded out a bit. I might be off, but this definitely does look like it's smaller. More so than that, this is a dual USB outlet, as you can see, but also this looks to have an illumination ring around it. It looks like once you plug it into power, you essentially get some sort of color ring. I'm wondering what color it'll be. By default, I believe most manufacturers will do like a blue or a red. I'll go test it out in a moment, just to cover all our bases. But that's kind of a nice touch. Hopefully it actually kind of goes with their theming, which was purple at the time. But if it's blue or red, it is what it is. Just for specs, I believe it states it's a 12 to 24 volt, 2.4 amp. So typical power delivery. I mean, this would be good enough, of course, to power the Waifu box and, of course, more than likely charge a phone. Now, keep in mind that because it does say 2.4 amps, I do believe that it'll probably be a weaker charge, so it's not going to be any kind of quick charge or anything. But again, I digress. The fact that they included 2 USB ports is definitely a nice touch. They didn't have to, and they did, so take it for what it is. Also, you get a USB-C cable in the box now, which is definitely very nice because that just tells us that as opposed to the micro USB on the original box, they've upgraded to the times, of course USB-C, and then there's some 3M adhesive in the box, so if you want to actually attach the box somewhere in your vehicle to make sure that it does not go anywhere, you have that option as well. Alright, so upon digging, because again I wanted to give you the right information, I actually found the instruction manual, the older one, and as you can see the power adapter had like a little chunkier bulge. Again, I'm almost positive that it was larger than this. I wish I could find the original one. I'm clearly using it somewhere. Also, I just saw some pictures of the device itself, and that outer ring seems to glow white. So that's nice, because for those of you that are essentially color scheming your interiors now that there's all kinds of light products out there, white is obviously a very universal color, so it shouldn't be too jarring. But like I said, we will go plug it in and try it out for ourselves in a moment. Now let's get down to the actual comparison of the boxes. First things first, I'm pretty sure many of you are asking what makes this particular Chime box different from the other ones, and honestly it's just the attention to detail and the passion behind the creation of it. So for those of you that don't know, the actual Waifu Prison comes preloaded with 40 original scripted lines. Of course, they're all very anime-ish sounding, and the best way I could describe it is by reading actually their instruction manual. They have timid, professional, suggestive, and tsundere. For those of you guys that are into anime, you'll probably know that that's basically kind of a little bit more bossy is the best way I could describe it for those of you that aren't into anime. But beyond that, there's also a lot of more support as far as other things that they have. For example, they do sell hard wiring kits if you want to have this a little more hidden, for example, so you can actually have it permanently to power, so the moment the car turns on, rather than having it plugged into like a USB outlet or a 12-volt adapter. They do sell things like that. They sell a air vent clip, so that way if you want it held and visible on like the dashboard, you can do that. And then finally, the DLC, which I'm actually really fond of. Even though there's already 40 preloaded voices, you have to understand that, like I said, this is anime themed, so there's a lot of JDM or Japanese reference, but not everybody drives a JDM car. I understand some of you guys like me are in the KDM scene, so you have Korean made cars, you have European made cars, you might even have American made cars, but you just like the lifestyle. So they have a DLC pack for car makes, which is actually really cool. Essentially, it's a ton of new lines with the most popular auto brands in the US market. And on top of that, for the ladies out there that don't want to just hear waifu voices, they have the Husbando DLC pack, which of course is essentially just very similar to the original voices on the box itself, but with the twist of now being from a male voice actor as opposed to female. So that's super cool. The last thing, which I think is really neat, is of course the ability to basically customize your own chimes, upload them onto this, and then essentially go from there. And believe me, there's like a lot you could do with that, because if you're nifty enough to create your own small sound clips, it's honestly nice to have. As you probably saw at the opening clip, the sky's the limit. I'm not going to quite go into how to make your own custom sounds. It's actually rather straightforward, but if you'd like, again, like I said, I'll link the prior video where I actually went over how to make your own custom chimes. But I just wanted to show you, so this is what it looks like when you're plugged into USB on a computer. So these are actual hard buttons now, and they actually glow white. I like how they're kind of basically doing the little kind of playful on and off going forward. I'm assuming that this only shows up when you're actually plugged into an actual computer, and then the moment you load up, you basically have all the file system of the sounds. A few takeaways from that is that this box has roughly about 4 megabytes, which may not sound like a lot of space, but again, storage wise, you really only need to do a few sound clips, so you can of course move things back and forth. I would always advise saving the original sound clips just in case you ever want to reuse them in the future. And of course, there's the sound clips themselves that are preloaded are pretty high quality. For comparison's sake, the actual sound clip that I uploaded, the custom one, was a 14.9 kilobyte file, which is nothing, but the files that are already preloaded were roughly between 80 to 100 kilobytes. Again, taking much more space. Again, short snippets, but higher quality. The recording is there, you could definitely tell. So now, time to play them off of the box so you can kind of get an idea of what it sounds like. Had to get a different USB-C cable that's plugged directly to power, not the computer, so it'll actually work like it would when it's in the car. But essentially, again, USB-C, sleek black box, still has the heart outline, but instead of pixels, it's more like some oval-ish lines, and then it says Waifu Prison in that matte style. So again, really liking the sleek look of it. Time to plug it in. So here it goes, and it'll play one of the default waifu sounds, which will be...
Ohayo, driver-san.
There we go. And of course, like I said, it'll illuminate the arrows. Now, if you hold it, just like the original box, you can increase volume. You get an audible tone, so you know that it's going higher, or if you want to lower it, you hold this one. And as you hear, it's descending because you're getting less loud or lower volume. So let's go back up. Okay, pretty loud there. Now, literally just a simple tap will let you go through different sounds. It starts off at the highest file, or like the first file. So essentially, if you upload anything custom and you name it, more than likely it'll end up at the back of the file system. Again, just depending on how you name it. So we're gonna choose the left button to go to our custom sound. So
Hyundai Power.
So that's not a custom one. That's actually one of the car models DLC pack that I added. Again, you guys know I drive a Hyundai, so that's the chime that I typically default to. I like it, as opposed to...
Ohayo, driver-san.
And that's on the very loud volume, so if it's coming in through loud, it's pretty loud. But yeah, you can put anything. They have obviously all your popular JDM makes. I didn't upload any of these, but I do believe even stock, it does come with some JDM audio sounds of their own. Actually, let me check the menu real quick. Yeah, so real quick, car related that come preloaded on this. They have a saying that'll say Miata power, BRZ power, FRS power, RX-7 power, Mazda power, Supra power, Toyota power, Nissan power. So again, just many of the most popular makes, which is funny because I thought Honda's pretty popular, but I digress. Of course, if you want some of the other stuff, you can download the DLC packs, and then I'm going to show you just a little custom one that we put. So again, me just messing around with this, but I'm just showing you, you can honestly upload anything. You could technically upload even like a snippet of music, and so just to demonstrate, we left it on Giggity, so when you unplug it and you plug it back in, you're gonna get Giggity. So again, you'll basically get that sound every time you turn on the vehicle. Or
Hyundai Power.
Again, if you change it, unplug it again in your car. Once you plug it in and get to power source,
Hyundai Power.
It'll play whatever chime you chose upon the volume that you last chose, and of course the last sound you played. It does also give you instructions on how to upload your custom audio in here, so for those of you guys that kind of need a little more instruction. And the last thing, because your boy did read the instruction manual real quick, if you double tap, you can actually increase the brightness of the LED. So once you're in your car, especially for those who have dark tint, if it's too bright, you can of course double tap it down to make it more dim. And of course, if you feel like it's not bright enough, you can double tap the opposite direction to increase the brightness. So all right, before I cook myself while we're in the car, I'm going to show you just the difference between one of those super small, like portable, flush 12-volt adapters as opposed to the one out of the box from Out of Love. So there you go. As you can see, there's a size comparison. It's not necessarily huge, but of course there are smaller, so it's up to you which one you decide to use. If you use the one out of the box, obviously, so you don't spend extra money, or if you're one of those people that really likes a cleaner look, then you can of course go out there and just buy an adapter, especially because now they make adapters that are like dual USB-C or USB-C to like normal USB-A, so that way you have dual, and then of course, the typical dual USB-A. So let's plug this in and see what it looks like. All right, so it's plugged in, and as you can see, it's actually quite dim. It's not super bright. Like this is like the lighting for the car with the lights on. So it's, as you can see, like there's the accessory lights for the car, and they're honestly, even though the camera's making it look brighter than it is, the white ring is actually the exact same brightness as the vehicle's own backlit systems. So the fact also, at least in this particular car, that it's kind of a white matches everything else perfectly. So there's that. I know some other cars have like red backlighting or orange, maybe even blue or like a soft blue. So I really don't think that this white will look too far off. And honestly, it actually looks pretty clean, despite the fact that it's a little taller than like those really small ones. So yeah, that's actually pretty nice. Definitely A+ to them. Real quick for the outtakes, because of course the cable in the box, as you guys saw, was really long. So if you guys don't need that much length and you guys are planning on having it really close to the connector itself, Cable Creations actually makes a 1/2 foot, so a 0.5 foot cable, so like 6 inches long. That's actually just perfect if you want to have it be really close to, you know, wherever it's actually receiving power from. I actually originally did this with the Waifu Prison 1.0, so figured I'd share the wealth. Check it out on Amazon. But guys, that's pretty much it. That about wraps up this video. Again, this is the Waifu Prison 2.0, so this is what it comes like, and you saw what it looked like, as opposed to the more anime flavored 1.0 version. They both function the same, so realistically, if you have this, you don't need to upgrade. However, if for whatever reason you didn't like having the obvious anime reference as far as the design and everything, or you want something, like I said, more incognito, maybe you don't like the touch buttons and you prefer actual physical buttons, yeah, it might be worth the upgrade. Again, functionally, it doesn't necessarily change anything. The USB-C upgrade is definitely a nice touch, but honestly, as far as the speaker that's being used in there or anything like that, that's pretty much the same. I didn't notice any kind of difference, which isn't a bad thing. That just means that if you were an early adopter and you jumped on the first version, you got quality product. And if you decide to buy this newer version, you're also getting quality product. So it's a win-win either way. But guys, let me know what you think about this product and of course the new version in the comments down below. Is this something that you guys have been wanting, and are you happier with the changes? Do you prefer the more anime themed version? Are you gonna buy this, or is this something that you think is so neat that you're gonna buy it as a gift for the car lover in your life? Let me know in the comments down below. But as always guys, thank you for all the love and support. I greatly appreciate it. Definitely more videos coming, a few more affordable things, since like I said, the holidays are right around the corner and I like to get these things out to you so you have at least 2 to 3 months to buy something. But as always, thanks for all the love and support once again, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.